Okay, so we had the 1975 effort of trying to bring Sir Harry Flashman to the silver screen in Royal Flash, and that's our lot. In this packet, why we won't see another movie of Flashman. In the 1970s, Richard Lester bought the rights to the first Flashman book for a film he wanted to make, but that failed at the first. He went on to make Royal Flash. Then, in 2014, the actor Dominic West dressed up as Harry and did a few publicity photos to promote the sale of George MacDonald Fraser's book collection at a Mayfair dealer's after his death. The British newspaper The Daily Telegraph interviewed West where he backed the support for a Flashman film, but again, no cigar. Then, in 2015, there was a rumour reported on the internet that Ridley Scott was going to make a Flashman movie. There was no information on what story or what book would be featured or any details about cast, but it hasn't got off the ground, and there's no further information come to the surface. It seems there's an appetite by at least a few filmmakers and people in the industry to make a film, but it doesn't seem to get off the ground. So the question is, why? Here's a few reasons why I think it's unlikely we will see Flashman at Little Bighorn or on the retreat from Kabul on the big screen. Mainstream filmmaking is a business, which if we are lucky turns into something nearer art. Therefore, it has to make money. I don't pretend to understand anything about big budget films, but basic business logic says that the difference between how much something costs to make and how much it is sold for is the profit. This is what the backers of films are interested in. To do the stories justice, a Flashman production budget would need to be the size of St Paul's. The exotic locations, the numbers of extras, period props and costumes, and not forgetting the special effects would all demand a lot of tin. Now some of this could be addressed with special effects, but if the film made is the one we would like to be made, it couldn't be done solely in front of a green screen. This may be one of the reasons why Royal Flash was made into a film, because there was little in the way of war scenes and different locations. Next, it's just un-PC. Flashman is an anti-hero and villain. George MacDonald Fraser himself said he didn't like him and only had a complex soft spot for him. But as I've discussed in a previous packet, we all love a villain. George MacDonald Fraser wrote the Flashman books in a very different time to today, and they were set in an even more distant Victorian time in the first person of a selfish scoundrel. His attitudes towards women and different races are appalling, and he celebrates this. The language used is often offensive and can make you cringe, and any mainstream film would have to tackle this problem. Could a film in its relatively short running time compared to a book present a figure who can be so demeaning to women and use such racist language be the central star of a film? This is a very tricky one to address, as to water this down may lose the essence of the character, and if it was presented warts and all, I'd hate to have Harry championed by extremist views much the same way that the St George's Cross flag has been in England. Personally, I think Harry is selfish to the core and treats everyone with equal discrimination, although there are plenty of examples where he does embrace people regardless of race or gender, but I'm getting off point. Edgy subjects like this will split audiences and make investment in a production more risky. Much easier to invest in Spider-Man. Next up, compromise and deviation from the book. It's rare for a book to be faithfully reproduced in a film, and I can't even think of an instance when it's been attempted. It's not as good as the book is a common phrase to hear after watching a film. But I feel we should always resign ourselves to this fact and give the film a chance to stand on its own feet, as there are things a film can do that a book can't, such as a shared simultaneous experience. The Flashman papers entertain from front to back cover and on lots of levels. They're very funny and educational, but for me above all, they're a really good story. George MacDonald Fraser takes great care in building the plots, developing the characters and setting the scenes. In Flashman and the Dragon, the descriptions of the Summer Palace in Peking and artefacts within are breathtaking. Now, we already looked at production costs, and if we put that aside, there would still be an enormous amount that would need to be left out of a packet, simply to make it sit within a 2-hour time frame. I think Peter Jackson did a great effort with the Lord of the Rings trilogy to keep each film within 3 hours, and the extended DVD films were 4 hours. Tolkien was obsessed with detail. He even created the Elvish language in entirety. Could the detail and richness of a story translate to a Flashman film? Again, looking at Royal Flash, there were lots of details missed out because they had to be. The art would be to keep the best bits and maintain the story. This would be very difficult and it would take the best talent to achieve. But I suppose that's why films are so good. I read in an interview that George MacDonald Fraser was reluctant to see another film made because of the need to compromise. So if the exquisite detail were removed, would we still have a film? And finally, who is really interested in seeing a Flashman film? If we've managed to secure the budget, get the screenplay written, make the film with the cast in the exotic locations, period props, special effects, and edit the film to balance Flash's near-the-knuckle attitudes with all the right talented people, what's next? Oh yeah, who the bloody hell was going to go and see it? The Flashman books were a big success, and the following was and still is very big, or people like me and you wouldn't be here discussing it. The problem is, which audience does this appeal to? There's an awful lot of the great unwashed that this wouldn't immediately appeal to. On face value, who would want to see a misogynistic, self-serving anti-hero be abusive to everyone? And I think that's the point. If you get past this initially and let the stories grab your imagination, Harry's complex character eventually gets the better of you. I was sitting on a train commuting home from London one evening when a girl got on and sat next to me, and she noticed I was reading a Flashman book. She had to interrupt me and tell me how much she loves Harry, how absolutely awful he is, and how she and her friends always listen to him on holiday via an audiobook. So how do you market Flashman to attract more than just you and I? So we're adding to the cost again for extra marketing in the hope of convincing audiences to see a film they wouldn't usually go for. So I'm not sure a large enough audience could be attracted. We love the books, and I personally have a soft spot for the film Royal Flash, but do we really need a new Flashman film? Yes, it will bring attention to our favourite books, and we can feel all smug and sit in the pub by being there first and being able to give extra details behind the plot, but with all the reasons above, I just can't see a film getting it anywhere near the quality it would deserve, and Flashy would finally be ruined after all the hard work he'd put in protecting his reputation. So there you have it, my thoughts on why we won't see another Flashman film. But what do you think? How about wading in with your own wisdom in the comments below? I'd love to hear from you at Flashman Study. And if you want to see more of these videos, why not hit the subscribe button? And if you like what you saw here, how about giving us a plucky thumbs up? Hold up, there's another reason. Who the bloody hell would play Flashman? We'll deal with that in another packet. Would you like nuts or cigar, sir?